We're going to start in a few minutes. Okay, I'd like to call to order the Planning Commission meeting Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. It's 6:38. Determination of a quorum. Mr. Kinney.
Here.
Mr. Smith. Mr. Reyes is excused tonight. Mr. Burke.
Here.
Mr. Price.
Here.
Mr. Studley. Secretary Anderson. Vice Chair Kalunian is excused tonight. Chairman Flynn is here tonight. We have a quorum of 7 tonight. Emergency evacuation, the doors you came in, you can go out to the left and to the right. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to entertain a motion. I'm going to change the agenda up tonight. I'm going to take Westwood Estates first. And then following that will be Coventry Center. So I'll entertain a motion to change the agenda. I have a motion by Mr. Smith. I have a second by Mr. Anderson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
And then through the chair, that motion includes moving the ordinance and the major land development
Yes,
both up to be heard as continuous matters.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Westwood Refiguration Plan, public hearing, master plan, major land development with associated zone change, owner applicant, Hometown America Communities LLC, AP 43, lot 35, 35001, AP 35, lot 32001, and AP 44, lots 4, 5, and 6, zone PD, RMH, planning development with residential mobile home district, 049 and 64 Reservoir Road. Applicant proposes to increase the number of mobile home sites within the property by 46 units through a combination of creation of new infill sites of roads, 3 new private roads with a property phase 1, and the relocation, orientation of some existing mobile homes to allow the installation of a new mobile home on adjacent sites phase 2. The proposal includes a corresponding zone change applicant, which will be subject to recommendation by the Planning Commission, ultimately decided by the Town Council. Is anybody here representing the applicant? Mr. Cronin. Name and address, please.
My apologies. Good evening, Thomas Cronin. Nolan Bernero, Cronin Farrar, 1070 Main Street, Coventry, Rhode Island, for the owner and applicant. Mr. Chairman, as the commission is aware, I've made a request through the planning department to continue this matter. We had a TRC meeting on August 18th with some meaningful comments from planning staff and the local public safety and public works folks. We're receptive to those comments. We're making changes to the ordinance and the plan and making some written responses to the comments. We were unable to do that in time for those to be included in this meeting. So I would ask for a continuance to date certain to the next planning board hearing for both the master plan
Please, quiet.
and the recommendation on the ordinance. Thank you.
Okay, I'll have a motion to continue the ordinance and the application and the ordinance to a specific date of 9/24/25.
I'll make that motion as stated by the chair.
I'll second it.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor?
Through the chair, before you finish that vote, if we are going to entertain any comment, we should do that prior to the motion to continue, so the matter is still in front of us
Okay,
duly.
I'm going to take public comment tonight, just so you're not here and have to drive home. Please limit it. We will have public comment again next month. But I don't want everybody to come here tonight and then have to leave. So I felt that having public comment would be right for you people. So I'm going to make a motion to open up public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open public hearing.
I have a motion by Mr. Smith. I have a second by Mr. Kenny. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, if we can make it brief, go ahead.
I would just note, Doug McLean, I'm the town planner for Coventry. I'd like everyone to be mindful of the size of the crowd. There are other matters. Certainly, if you'd like to speak, feel free, but please be very quick. Know that you will have a chance to speak again next month, and know that the application may be different next month. So the items you're speaking to may be different. However, a lot of people have shown interest. So if someone feels that they need to make a comment tonight, we still have room. Please try to be quick. Thank you.
Doug, would you like to address the letter? that we
Yeah, that's a
received
good
from
point.
Town?
The staff today received a letter from Hometown America Communities. It was addressed to all the residents of Westwood Estates. It's my understanding that this has been emailed to all of the residents of Westwood Estates. Some folks in this room may have already received that email. Some folks may have not. It should be in your inboxes. I don't have enough paper copies to hand to everybody in the room. We have more people in the room than I anticipated. However, the town will put this, if everyone could.
Excuse me, just let him talk, please.
If everyone could remain quiet, it'll be easier for everyone else around you to hear what's happening. This will be added to the town's website tomorrow. You will be able to find it on the planning department website under the meeting materials for tonight's meeting. I'd ask if everyone can turn their phones to silent. We're going to try to get through this quickly. We do have other matters after this, so I'm going to ask to be quick. There are 20 paper copies of the letter. I'm going to put those 20 paper copies on the back table. That won't be enough for everyone. Please be respectful. It should be in your email inboxes as well. So I think that gives, unless the chair sees fit, any other instructions.
No, the only instruction I have is to repeat what you said. We're going to have another public hearing next month. It's continued to the 24th. We do not have to take public hearing, but we are willing to do public hearing because it's the right thing to do for you people. So, Mr. Cronin, as the attorney for the applicant, is going to stand there and take notes. I don't believe he's going to do a presentation. We really can't comment, but we will take all your everything you say will be taken into consideration, and any email that was submitted will be put on the record. So if anybody would like to come up, I'm going to take this woman right in the front. I'll get you next, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Name is Kathy Phillips, 9 Milton Lane, Coventry, Rhode Island. Okay, our purpose, I appreciate you hearing us today. Thank you very
You're welcome.
much. Our purpose of coming before you today is to express our concerns regarding the reconfiguration relocation project at Hometown Westwood Estates, Coventry, Rhode Island. 1, the drain on the water system possibly involving installation of sewers, hookup fees, sewer taxes. The fire department expressed concern at the planning department meeting about the water pressure. 2, the distance between the mobile homes and the septic with the reconfiguration placing homes in between. 3, if what I heard was true that the moves would be voluntary, and if the owners refused their homes to be moved, could they then charge double rent because a mobile home is now taking up double space? The lawyer at the planning department meeting mentioned this, and the director, Doug McLean, corrected him by saying, "No, you are requesting that the existing space be made to." 4, what about the damage that can happen to our mobile homes? Who would be responsible, and what would be the outcome as far as a place to stay afterwards or even during this transition? Some of the damage might not be immediately apparent. This could result in denial of responsibility at a later date. The lawyer did say, when asked how far he would press the issue of relocation, he said that eviction was possible, as well as there is always apartment 96. Hometown did send a letter apologizing for the eviction statement. We were told it was an either-or situation, either the reconfiguration relocation project or the apartment 96 project. It is not delineated on the plans as to the placement of roads, et cetera, regarding the apartment 96 project and how that would affect our community. Traffic concerns, road placement, and the traffic road load on top of the traffic from the Coventry High School. Is it true that Hometown would be able to reapply every 2 years? The water area for runoff becomes a mosquito haven, possible disease. We got a notice in the mail from the lawyer on August 15th. No previous communication or notification at all prior to that point. No meeting with the residents either. A lot of concerns could have been addressed at that time. We purchased our homes in good faith on the land that it occupied when placed there. What about protection? There has to be protection from people being displaced from their homes, either temporarily or permanently. Even though the threat of eviction was retracted, the fact is that the lawyer representing Hometown America was very manipulative and threatening. The whole situation, in our opinion, was mishandled. We have been accused of scaring people with information. We have the facts. They are the ones using scare tactics and did not provide any information to the residents as if we didn't matter. 13. If what was mentioned in the letter about purchasing our homes, that prevents us from selling our homes outright. And if we do, we have to disclose that the home will be moved. Hometown America has had several class action suits currently against them, as well as some that have settled. And I can go through all the class action suits if that's okay. There's 4 of them.
Mrs. Phillips, we do have your letter
Right.
that you submitted, and it
Right.
is part of the permanent record
Okay.
for this.
But I'm just saying, they have evaded paying payroll taxes. They have problems at other mobile home parks throughout the country where they've had not made repairs and things. They had to be taken to court to make them make these repairs. So with this in consideration, I mean, it is, I think, very prohibitive for us having our homes moved because they don't operate in good faith and they don't practice what they say they're going to do. I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take that gentleman in the back first. Come on up, sir.
Robert Thomas, 13. Thomas, 13 Torch Lane, one of the houses that are slated to be moved, according to what I've seen on the planning website. Just a quick note, I noticed when you made your opening statement, it said the number of homes that are going to be added, but I didn't hear anything about, and it is on the planning thing, how many homes are going to be moved. And I noticed there was nothing said of that, which according to the prints that are on the site, there's 11 homes being moved. And I was curious why that statement wasn't.
So I can't say anything because in fairness to the applicant, they're not making a presentation tonight.
Okay,
Master plan is a conceptual meeting
okay,
being continued to next month.
okay.
We're taking what you're saying in front of us
Hmm?
in context, it's be part of the record, but we
Okay.
really can't comment on it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't asking.
Fairness to the applicant.
I wasn't asking for a comment. I was just asking,
That's
you
why I didn't
mentioned the
mention
number of add-on, but you didn't mention, and I'm not blaming you. I'm just stating that it just seemed odd because naturally we would be the most,
I did read off the agenda where there was 46 total, 37, so there'd be 9 configured.
yeah.
That's what's on my agenda. That's what I
Okay.
read into the record.
And I just wanted to throw that out. I'm very passionate
Well,
about,
this could drastically change in a month.
I totally agree, but I fear for my home and losing it.
I appreciate that.
My house is 53 years old, still has tires on it. Okay? Let's make that clear. I've done a lot of work on my home. I have 2x2 walls, 24 inches on center with paneling on the inside and no plywood on the outside. That's how my house is made, and they want to move it with a crane. I'm going to leave it at that and just say it's not even a possibility, but I'll talk more in the future. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Come on up, sir.
Jonathan Longo. Sorry. Jonathan Longo, 21, or Longo, 21 Torch Lane. I'm going to try to summarize, so I don't take up too much of your time. This is to provide you with the detrimental effects that will happen if they try to move our homes and if they keep jamming more homes in there. You got the, I heard it was 47, but you're saying 46 units. These homes that are gonna be moved, the 11 they're gonna move, mine is in 1972, which makes it 53 years old. When they were originally designed, they had flat metal roofs. When they moved them into the park, they added 2,000, 3,000 pounds worth of wood to make them peak roofs. So if you try to move them, they're just gonna pancake. They're not gonna be able to be moved. And with the content in them, as soon as you take them off their jack stands, the frames are just gonna noodle down. That'll be the end of the frame. So they have to empty them all. There was one resident on that street that had been turned years ago, and her house at the time was 3 years old. And it took 3 months for them to pour the slab, do the electrical, plumbing, all that. And she had to stay in a hotel for that time, which she said was like a nightmare. You know, she dumped a lot of money into her house and then to go through all that. A lot of the people that are going to be moved or infringed by this expansion are elderly, have health problems. They can't go through all this disaster of doing this. We also purchased these homes that they're planning on turning because of their large family size yards. And so people have put, like, my deck is 27 by 20. Now, if they move me and I only get 15 feet of property on each side, I guess we chainsaw the rest of my deck off there. You know, it's just, it's ridiculous that they want me to go from, well, a lot of us to go from 6 to 10,000 square foot lots to 15 feet a yard on each side. As far as I know, planning's gonna put a cap on that, but, a lot of people have, 3-season rooms, which, as you know, are very expensive. And that's not gonna move well because that's cemented into the ground, so I don't know how that could possibly even be moved. The infrastructures of the park right now are inadequate for the size and the additions that they keep adding homes. I know that Torch Lane only has 2 fire hydrants on the whole road. Also, we have major flooding issues, and this is throughout the park, fire hydrants and the flooding issues, where people sometimes can't go up the street because there's a pond. So we don't have adequate drainage. I don't mean to keep going back about myself, but all the water from Torch Lane comes down, turns into my driveway, floods it 6 inches deep, floods my field, floods my backyard, and goes out the other side, making it unusable. You know, there's a lot of people that go through the same thing because they won't put drains in. Street lighting is little to none. There's very few streetlights in the park, and when the park is asked about that, they tell us, well, it's gonna be 2 or 3 years before they get them fixed. I've been there 13 years, and they've been saying that since then. So we don't have lighting. When somebody's walking down the street with their dog at night, if they don't have a flashlight, you don't see them till you're right up to them. Very dangerous. And once you put in all these new homes, it's gonna be worse, because now they're talking about putting a 2-inch line for sewer through there, and 2-inch line is not gonna be able to handle the capacity of all these new homes and all the homes on the street. Also, they're taking all our green spaces. When you first come in the park at Valiant on that corner, there's a very large field. People play Frisbee, play with their dogs, their kids. I've actually seen barbecues going on over there. They're gonna put mobile homes in all of that. If you go to the end of Lear, where it goes to Sandy Circle, there's a little small green space there for those people, you know, for their dogs and their kids and all that. They're taking that and putting 2 on it. So pretty much, we're not gonna have any green space. We're gonna have a very small amount across the street from the office, which is, you know, a tennis court, some play areas, and a basketball court. So it doesn't leave much room for the residents to enjoy those green spaces. That's about all I have for you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Come on up there. Right there. Come on up.
My name is Linda Riendeau, Riendeau. I live at 21 Sandra Circle, Coventry, Rhode Island. I have a few questions, and actually, for the record, just before I walked up here, I checked my email, and I do not have an email from Westwood. My questions, one is, what is the square foot requirement going to be for the areas that they're going to move one house and then put two houses in the same lot? What is the lot requirement going to be? I actually have a copy of all my questions that I can give to you if they're relevant for the next
Mr.
meeting.
Cronin's there writing down all your questions. Like I said, we can't comment tonight.
Okay,
We're just doing this to be nice to you people.
okay. I can't,
We do not have to take public comment, but I think it's the right thing to do. That's what we're doing.
I'd like to speak tonight because.
We can't react to your comments because
Mhm.
you didn't hear the
I understand
application.
I'd like to speak tonight only because I can't make it the 24th, and I think this is a
That's
very important
exactly
issue.
why we're doing this. Thank you.
I'd like to know what the name of the company is going to be that's going to move the existing homes. Have they had any problems in the past? What is the success rate? Has any research been done moving existing homes and have the moves been successful? Who will be responsible for breaking up the cement pads and replacing them? Who will be responsible for moving decks? Who will be responsible for moving additions that have been built on the original land legally? Who will be responsible for the new electric services? They're going to have to be pulled up from the ground. So two new electric service, gas service, they're going to have to be tied down because now the state of Rhode Island requires a cement pad and tie downs for each of the units. Water hookups, skirting, packing belongings of the homeowners, securing loose items inside the home. Will the 46 homes necessitate having to put in a sewer system there? Will we have to now tie in to the sewer system because there are 46 additional homes? Double-wide homes are brought in on two trailers. Will the move of the existing homes require them to be in two pieces and then put back together again? Where will the residents be while all this process has been going on? And who will be responsible for the expenses of this? What kind of guarantee will the residents receive that their home will be moved safely? What kind of guarantee will the residents receive that they will be made whole if something goes wrong with the move? Hometown wants to move 11 homes, put 11 new homes in the same area. So there'll now be 22 homes where 11 were. So what happens to the lot size? What is the average age of the homes that are being proposed to move? In reference to the 96 multifamily homes that the ordinance was passed already, what is the maximum height for a building in a manufactured home park? Will the threats of evicting residents from their homes be stopped? Will the threats to continue with the ordinance 2003 05-03-0239 be implemented? Exactly where was the 96 multifamily units designated for? And if it's not, if they can't move the homes and the 96 multifamily units are being put in, do they have to go exactly where the plan was back in 2003? And if it's not in the original spot, will they require a new ordinance to come up with the 96 multifamily units? In Rhode Island, you can't be forced to move from your mobile home unless you violated rules and regulations of law that require relocation. You cannot evict someone because they don't do what you want to do. Evictions must be decided by a judge in the court system. The town can't make that decision, nor can the state of Rhode Island make that decision. In Rhode Island, landlords have legal cause to evict a tenant, but they must also follow a formal court process. Valid grounds for eviction include non-payment of rent, violating the lease, property damage, or illegal activity. There are 5 houses, brand-new houses, being slated to go at the end of Sandra Circle, which is where I live. I'm currently the last house on the left. When there's a bad rainstorm, that whole area floods. And other areas on Sandra Circle also flooded. And I have pictures of the floods if it comes to being needed. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else on this side of the room like to come up and speak? Okay, come on up, sir. Come on up, sir. You had your hand up?
Ma'am.
I can't see. I saw a hand back there.
Yeah,
All right, I saw the man behind you, but go ahead. Go ahead, come on up.
Hi, Chris Andrew, and that's with a K. And last name is O as in Oscar, N as in Nancy, S as in Sam, R as in Robert. U as in under, D as in David. 13 Cheryl Lane. My concern is we received this letter from Westwood Estates with no signature. How legal is that letter? Anybody can send a letter and say it's from Westwood and then renege on it if there's no signature. So I would like the same letter, but with the CEO or the manager or the president's signature on it. So I know it's legal. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right behind her, sir, you had your hand up. If you want to come up, you all set? Anybody else on this side? Come on up, sir.
My name is Henry Henriksen, Henriksen, residence 4 Justin Lane, Coventry, Rhode Island. I must say, what they're trying to do doesn't affect me directly for where I live, okay? But I thought that because of the stunts that Hometown has pulled since they took it from John Asselone or bought it from him, I particularly don't care for. All they do is raise the rent. They clean no drains. They clean nothing. We get taxed on the dwelling by the town of Coventry. We get another tax from Hometown to pay for the land tax. They give us nothing. The only thing they give us is a higher bill all the time, every year, on the rent. What's going to happen is that, first of all, the fire department, they can't handle what they got in there now, okay? You have no fire hydrants, no lighting, no anything. They do nothing. I mean, we don't even get our streets plowed in the wintertime properly. Nothing. All they want to do is turn around and stick more money in their pockets, right? And I don't know if the town gets anything from them by getting more houses in there, but I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right at all. I mean, I'm sticking up for the people who live down the road from me. They want to take their house. They want to put all these homes in there. They say they can't build where I live because there's nothing but wetlands. So what's going to happen next? Are they going to fill in the wetlands and turn around behind us? When they put in Cheryl Court, okay, they took down all the trees and everything. It used to be a quiet neighborhood. Now we hear everything coming from Tyoke Avenue and the high school. You know, all they do is take away from us. Take. You know, and I hope this town council finally listens to somebody, because all these people that
Please,
came
I know
before
there's
me-
a lot of emotions in the room, but I'm trying to understand and listen to what this gentleman's saying. Please respect us and we respect you. Please.
What happens is that all they do is a money-making thing for themselves, and they do bully us, and I'm not one to be bullied. I'm an ex-Vietnam vet, and I fought for this country for a long time,
Thank you for your service.
and I won't be bullied by any lawyer or some corporation. And these people shouldn't be either, or stupid politicians. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank you. Come on up there.
Through the chair, if I may, I'd like to direct everyone's attention. The screens now have the letter. This is considered a public document. It's public information. If you didn't get it in the email, the letter is on the screen for you to read.
It'll also be on the website, correct?
It will also be on the website
Be on the town
tomorrow. For anybody that just wants to read the letter. Now, I know there's a lot of commotion. Please be respectful and quiet when the next member of the public is speaking.
I'm gonna let her talk. You can come up again. I'll let you come up again.
Francis Lanou, Lanoue, 15A Torch Lane. I'm not really affected by the move that they're doing. My question is for the mail room, the trash room, what's going to happen with all that? With all these new houses in, now we have 430 units, I believe, right now, and the garbage just isn't big enough. Mailroom isn't big enough to add 46 more residents in there without expanding or something. So the garbage, the recycling, how is that all going to work? That's my only two questions, if it gets approved.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side of the room like to come up and speak? All right, Dave, you want to come up?
Kathy Phillips, 9 Milton Lane. When we get our lease to sign, it has the increase of our lease, the old amount of the lease, okay? But the,
It'd be hard to understand you. Could you please keep it down? You can go out into the foyer if you want to talk.
thank you. When we get our lease to sign, it's the old amount that was owed from the last year and the new amount that we're going to be charged, okay? But the actual full lease is never attached to the back. So we're signing a document without the full lease. And I don't think that's right. I think we need to have the full lease because they can put anything in that lease that you're signing behind there. And you don't even know it. And they say, well, you can come up and get a copy. You try to get a copy, you can't get it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Want to come up, sir?
Hello, Joe Fognoli, 40 Torch Lane, Fargnoli. Yep. Hi, guys. How are you? It's all guys on the pod, huh? Well, what I want to first say to you guys is I want you to think like the people behind me if you were living there. A lot of things are so wrong with this whole plan that number one, you got the high school, which now is more traffic, more pollution in our area and up on Reservoir Avenue. Most importantly, the open space that we enjoy. And that's something I really believe that you guys preserve, is open space. Sometimes money is not the most important thing. There's other things that are important in life. And the people behind me are here tonight because really, you know what? They don't want it. They really don't. We enjoy the peace and the quiet there. And we're residents that support our leaders all the time. They always come to get our votes. And we don't mind that. That's part of our process. But one thing for sure, that there's definitely more important things than money. And when I tell you that right now, presently, that we enjoy the open space, and I expect everybody on this board to respect that also, that we can walk the streets and see the trees and see the things, because when they turn around and put up these so-called new houses, all the trees are going too. I guarantee it. Now, I ask you guys to think of us if you were living there. What would you want? What would you think? How would you feel? And this is something I want you emotionally to think of rather than a proposal from a big corporation that wants more money. That's all, that's the bottom line. They want more money. We're asking you to preserve what's there. We're asking you to please stand by us as elected officials to turn around and enjoy what God has given us, and that is the open space, the clean air that we breathe, because when you have more houses, you've got more cars, you've got more pollution. We don't want that. And you know, this is, you say this is not the forum, but I'm opposed of it, and I really am. And I'm asking you to really consider the feelings of the people that did not come up to speak, but I know they feel this way, and I'm speaking for them. And I don't think anybody's going to disagree with me on this. So I ask you guys to have the compassion and understanding of what we're saying, that there's more things important than money, because this is all what it's about, money. It's not worth it. It's not worth the pollution. It's not worth cancer. It's not worth any of the stuff that pollution brings to our residents. So I appreciate very much the opportunity. I thank you for listening. And there'll be more I want to say later, but I'm just going to leave it to here out of respect for this gentleman. Okay, thank you.
Very much. Anybody else on this side of the room? Is your hand up? Absolutely. We can bring you over a microphone. Just your name and address, please. Okay, but your name and address anyway.
My name is Dave Bollier. I live on Flat River Road in Coventry. I'm here with my friend Jan Roberge, who lives at 43 Airport Road. She's one of the last 3 trailers down in the end by the gravel bank. As them lots as that on the list, I was told they were, but when you read off the lots that was going to be her, she wasn't mentioned. Well, she got the letter, but everybody in the park got the letter. No? So is 43 Airport Road, is that one of the ones that they're going to turn her trailer and add more into the lot? And you know, how could she find out?
The applicant's attorney is writing all your questions down tonight. As
Okay.
I said before, we really can't comment
Okay.
because we didn't hear this application tonight.
Okay. I have one other question. I take care of, I've been helping Jan out for like 15 years, and I take care of her yard, and she has huge, massive pine trees on her property. And there's limbs above her mobile home, 70 feet up in the air, that are dead. And they're like 8, 10-inch round limbs. And she's asked them before about, you know, taking care of trimming the trees, and they said that it's her responsibility. But hometown owns the property, and she pays, you know, lease to rent the property, but she shouldn't be responsible for these big trees. It's going to cost $5,000-6,000 to have a tree company come in and take down these dead limbs. And if one of those dead limbs ever falls, it's going right through the roof of her house. I mean, I clean those small limbs. We go over there with, you know, gentlemen that help me, and we take the small limbs off the roof and blow it off. But one of them big ones fall, her trailer's done. And her trailer's been there for what? She's been there since what? 1994, double wide trailer. They would never be able to lift her mobile home up with a crane and move it. It would fold in half. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else on this side like to come up and speak? Seeing no hands, anybody else on this side would like to come up and speak? Anybody on Zoom would like to come up and speak? Okay, I opened up public hearing tonight. I'm going to keep it open because we will be here next month. Go ahead.
If you don't mind, through the chair, I'd like to just make a few announcements so people know where to expect information and next steps.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Doug.
So again, my name's Doug McLean. I'm the town planner. I just want to give some announcements so that people hear it here. The applicant has requested to continue. The next meeting will be September 24th at 6:30 PM. This location, if this location needs to change because we feel as though we need a larger room, then we will post that information to the website. I encourage everyone to check the town website, the planning department page, before you plan to come next month. We understand the applicant anticipates perhaps giving us additional information. That will be posted to the town's website. On the planning department page, those that went there already, there's a meeting materials link. You'll find we move through the course of a calendar. There'll be a meeting materials link for the September 24th meeting. I'd say probably about 5 days or so in advance of the meeting, you'll see any new information from the applicant populate that website. You'll see the staff report that reflects that information on the website. So I recommend checking the website to get new information and checking the website to verify the location of the meeting. Other than that, my other piece of advice is there's certainly a lot of people here. My email address was made public as part of the notice that went out. You're welcome to email me comments. If you have detailed comments, it's often best for our decision makers to have that in writing in front of them before the meeting. They do read through them all. Everybody is welcome to email me, and you're welcome to email me comments now. I do encourage folks to wait to see what is the new materials that are being presented, what potential changes may be made, and to comment on those changes. We don't mind being ready to receive your emails, even if it's the day of the meeting. So my suggestion is to wait for the materials, review them, consider comments, email me, and you're always welcome to come to the meeting and provide comments verbally. So that concludes my my little overview for you. If you have questions for me, I just ask to email them to me. I can respond anytime. This is probably not the forum to do a lot of back and forth with the town planner. Mostly this is the forum for you to.
If you want to
discuss with the
come up,
commission.
if anybody wants to come up, they can come up again. Address the board. Come on up, sir. I saw your hand also. I'll get to you next.
My name again, Joseph Fognoli, 40 Torch Lane. Sir, I would hope that you would turn around and give us more time of when you're going to change the venue on the meeting. I don't think 5 days is really long enough. The second thing that I want to really mention, anything that has to do with Westwood Estates, I think the owners of Westwood Estates should be sending every single individual a written thing of what's going on. Because if you look at the room, we're not young anymore. We're getting older. Not everybody uses the phone or emails. So I really believe that you should have the responsibility to turn around and mail every single individual in Westwood Estates, anything you're doing, anything involved with Westwood Estates, we want it in writing and mailed to our houses. And I don't think that's too much to ask. I really don't. That's just respect. That's respect for the Westwood Estate of our residents. So I appreciate that very much if that was really totally in consideration, okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Come on up.
Chris Ansrud, 13 Cheryl Lane. My question is, what happens if on the 24th, Westwood doesn't have their act together once again? Are you going to continue it again another month and continue it another month and another month? Are they going to just get away with this? That's my question.
Thank you. I see a hand on this side. Come on up. What's that, please?
Hi, nervous. My name is James Taylor. I live on 21 Milton Lane. So that's one of the streets that's going to be affected, where they're going to add several mobile homes. I recently retired last year due to illness, and I moved to Coventry after living in the city for quite some time. I used to live here for many years. I love Coventry. One of the allures of moving to Westwood Estates was the beautiful open green spaces that was talked about. I'm fortunate where I have woods where I am. In the morning, I feed the deer. They come right up to me. They take apples from me. I put out feeding stations. I have a nice yard, a large lot. And the property values in Westwood Estate for a mobile home park are pretty high because of the location, because of the beauty of the park, because of the open green spaces, because of the walking trails and the nature. It definitely draws people of my age who want to retire and settle down and have a nice, quiet life. I worry about having 11 more homes on my street alone, which is a nice, quiet street. I feel that it is going to affect the property values in a negative way because people are not going to have the desire to live in a crowded area like living back in the city when the trees are gone, the animals are gone. I don't have the turkeys coming up out of the woods, the deer are gone. It's going to destroy our way of life. And I understand as a corporation, they need to do what they need to do. But again, it was mentioned, I think it was the gentleman, Joe, that keep in mind, please, that we're older, many of us, but a lot of them have young children. The nature, the beauty of the park as it is going to vanish. And I don't think that a lot of people will want to live there, myself included. But I fear that, I invested my income from the sale of my home to buy this home, and it's not going to be worth what I paid for it down the road because people just aren't going to want to live there like the people, beautiful people and wonderful people that live there now.
Thank you, sir. One more time. Because you have a very nice Irish name.
Yes, I do.
do.
Joseph Fognoli, 40 Torch Lane. Oh, boy.
I have to lift the room a little bit. There's a lot of tension. We understand the tension.
Yep. You know, another thing that I'm very concerned with, if this even gets approved and what they want to do, who's going to pay for it all? And you know what I think what's going to happen, guys? Everybody here is going to be paying for it. We're already on fixed incomes, and it ain't much, guys. It's Social Security, not much. And the sad part about it is that you're going to be forcing people to leave. And that would be very sad. Very, very sad. I'm not sure if you guys are all familiar with Westwood Estates, but it's a beautiful area when you turn around and you walk it. Each season tells a story in Westwood Estates, and that's the Lord's honest truth. And I'm just sharing with you guys, corporations, I'm very familiar with corporations. And I'll tell you, that's all they really do think of is money. Money, money, money. That's the bottom line. So when you turn around and you think it just affects the people sitting here today, it affects every Westwood resident that we're going to pay for this. They're not going to pay for it, I guarantee it. Not from the history that I know of Westwood Estates, hometown. If you go on their webpage, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I ask you again, we need your hearts to side by us to take care of us as the people. We're the people. We're the residents, not a corporation. Okay? So there was one more thing I wanted to say, but I forgot. I'll see you on the 24th.
All right. I'm gonna take one more and we're gonna try to wrap this up, okay? Come on up, sir.
Oh, sorry. Kevin Emmett, 20 Torch Lane. Yep, EMMETT. And I want to address, you said that you understand the tension, but I don't know that you do. I'm one of the houses that they want to pick up and move. the uncertainty, I'm here hoping for answers, and they're gonna continue it another month, and like this woman said, they're gonna push it down and push it down until we all can't be here and change it. I don't know that you guys understand the uncertainty that I go to bed at night thinking, are they gonna twist my house? Are they gonna destroy my house in the process? Am I gonna end up homeless because of this? All of these questions, you know what I mean? And I have to go to bed thinking that every single night now for another month because they're not prepared, because their lawyers aren't prepared. They don't have the packets ready or whatever you guys said. And that's wrong, I think, you know? We should be able, should vote on it now. If they're not ready, that's their issue. That's not an issue of the council or the planning board. You know what I mean? That I think the decision should be made whether they have it ready or not, you know? Because like I said, I go to bed every night and I'm sleeping less well than I did before. You know what I mean? Knowing that my house is one of the houses that they want to pick up. It's, as they say, it's a physical impossibility. It's been there for 50 years. You pick it up, it falls in on itself. You know what I mean? This woman here had excellent questions that I don't believe that they'll have the answers to. You know, next time they're not going to have all this ready for us. It's just, I said, they're going to kick the can down the road and try and force us out and try and ruin our lives. You know what I mean? Even it's 11 families that they want to uproot for extra money. They want to uproot our lives, ruin our lives. Doesn't matter if it's for 6 months, a year, 3 months, doesn't matter. They want to uproot our lives for their shareholders' paycheck at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And that's not what it should be about. We're in Coventry. We're the people of Coventry. I don't even know where hometown America is, Wisconsin or something. I'm here talking about Coventry, not about them. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's a good idea. And like I said, I don't sleep well at night knowing that they want to pick my house up. And now I hear that they threaten people with evictions over this and whatnot. It's insane. And I just ask you to, like, again, this gentleman said, consider the 11 families that would have to live in a hotel. You know what I mean? For however long hometown America takes to uproot our lives and our homes. So that's all. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Make it short. Come on up. This is going to be the last one tonight because for fairness to the next applicant.
Old, I can't remember everything. Kathy Phillips, 9 Milton Lane. The other thing that I don't think anybody said, but then again, I'm old, is that we put all our life savings into our homes. So what happens to that? What happens to anything that we want to leave our children? What happens to that? That's really something to consider because my husband died less than 2 years ago. He served 21 years in the Air Force. I'm glad he's not here now. All his life savings are in that home. Please consider that.
Thank you. Hey, just to let everybody know, the date is going to be 9/24/25 in this room at 6:30. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
And then
Thank
one last announcement for everybody. So everyone's aware, this project has two decision makers. The Planning Commission is one decision maker. The Town Council is the other decision maker. The project has two actions required. One is to approve the project, the other is to approve a zone change. The Planning Commission is here to consider the project. The Town Council considers the zone change. You will all likely receive notice in the mail over the course of the next several weeks that will alert you to the date of the Town Council meeting. It will likely be scheduled in October. Keep in mind, it still is coming back here September 24th. Feel free to keep that date handy of whatever the Town Council date is, but it has to go through planning first, and it does not replace the Planning Commission meeting on September 24th at 6:30. We are going to make it here for the sake of consistency and that everybody knows where to be. It'll be in this room on the 24th.
I just have one question. I'm not doing a public, I need a reference. I need a reference of what you just said. That's what I'm talking. What?
We're going to take a 5-minute break. Continue the application, the ordinance, and the public hearing as written.
To a date certain.
Motion to continue to 9/24/25.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second it.
A second by Mr. Kinney. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to take a 5-minute break. All right, we'd like to continue this meeting. I'm gonna ask for a motion for the approval of minutes. 5.1, July 23rd, 25.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes, July 23rd, 2020.
I have a motion by Mr. Smith. I have a second. Second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next on our agenda is a public hearing, master plan, major land development with associated zone change, owners Bernard L. Liv T. Christopher LaFoli, Lot 23, David T. and Christine Olton, Lot 24. Applicant Star Capital LLC, AP 7, lots 23 and 24, Zone I1 Industrial, 666 Arnold Road, Lot 23, and 2271 New London Turnpike, Lot 24. Applicant proposes development of a commercial project on Lot 23, multifamily residential project on Lot 24. Commercial project, commercial project would include 48,000 gross square footage of commercial space with a mixed retail, restaurant, drive-through, gas station, convenience store uses. The multifamily residential project would include 218 units across 4 buildings. 18% will be deed restricted as affordable. The proposal includes corresponding zone change application will be subject to the recommendation by the Planning Commission and ultimately decided by the Town Council. Is anybody here representing the applicant? Name and address, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. For the record, my name is Kelly Morris Salvatore. I represent the applicant in this matter. Tonight, we're here to revisit traffic issues. I think that's the main item that we need to discuss. The peer review has been completed. We also have a graphic to show you. I think you, Mr. Chairman, had some questions about off-site traffic, so we're going to show you a couple of graphics on that. And then the only other, with regard to the zone change, we talked about adding walk-in and urgent care to line 120 in the zoning ordinance. So I'd like to make sure that you include that in your recommendation to the town council, who we will be meeting with in a couple of weeks. So with that, I think we should get right into traffic at this point. And Mr. Clinton, I think could you just tell them what you've done since our last meeting? And I know your peer reviewer is also here, so he can weigh in as well. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Robert Clinton. I'm with the firm VHB. Yeah, since our last meeting, we've addressed the peer review comments. We've added a couple of more proposed developments in the area. So now we're up to 12 developments in addition to ours that we've looked at for the full build out of all those sites. So we feel that we've looked at an adequate future full build out of the whole area. We've also come up with a graphic that kind of shows our offsite improvements. And then we also, beyond that, have looked at comprehensive improvements for the whole study area, which includes all of these developments. So I guess what we can do is maybe put up on the screen the proposed offsite improvements plan.
You may have been emailed something, or Cody was emailed something
Yeah,
just
I saw him
today.
put it up earlier. Yeah, the new figures, yeah. Okay, yeah, this is a good one to start with. This is Arnold Road, and at the bottom of the page, off the page, is actually the intersection of Arnold Road and New London Turnpike. If you could zoom in to the bottom of the page. As you come around the corner, there's a dual left turn movement from New London Turnpike onto Arnold Road. So those two lanes will remain like they are through Gay Street. And the right lane will be a through right turn lane. So they'll be able to take a right in and a right out at that location. Lefts in and lefts out will be restricted. Then if you pan down on the, or up, or, yep. And if you look at the signs, they'll be starting to sign that. Today, it starts to taper down to one lane around, yeah, so there'll be signs that say right lane must turn right. So people that aren't turning right will start to shift over like they do today. And then if you pan further, you can see the arrow in the middle of Road 1. That'll be removed because it won't be a taper. That'll be a drop lane. So that right lane will just drop into the site. So everybody will still have the same distance to shift over to the left, but that right lane will become a right turn only lane. And that'll be a full access driveway at across from Grandview Street. Okay? And then if we go to the next plan, this shows the improvements on New London Turnpike. As you're heading from the right side of the page to the left, today there's a very short through right turn pocket there. So it's one lane until you get almost up on top of the intersection, and then it widens out to provide 2 lanes on the approach. We're proposing widening on our side of the street to accommodate the maximum queue that we project for full build out of all 12 sites plus ours. So this improvement will bring it back almost to our right in, right out. We didn't want to have an ad lane at the right out because we didn't want people to think that it was just a free flow right out. So, so we're revising that at that location. So those are our proposed improvements, and I think, as I said, the peer reviewer has reviewed our study. We've added in, responded to all their comments. We've added in 2 or 3 additional developments. So we're up to 12 developments total.
Now, you mentioned Grandview. I mentioned it last month. There's a pole in the sidewalk that completely blocks the sight distance. I don't know if that's going to be moved, but I think it should be moved, and I don't know by who.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that. Yeah,
And I'll say it again, if you go there on a weekend between a certain amount of time, that intersection is backed up from Center and New England because, again, there's not a right turn only in Center and New England. So that's an issue.
Right.
My wife's tired of hearing it. Come at 2 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. I said,
Yeah.
because you want to, that's why I'm doing it. Not
Yeah.
But what's happening is people are going down Gay Street
Yeah.
and they're going through the Wendy's parking lot
Right.
to avoid that whole intersection.
Yeah, I've
That's
seen it.
becoming an issue too.
Yeah.
So I know it's not everything's on you, but the backing up to the intersection that you're trying to fix should be addressed because that's going to still happen.
Yeah, there are a lot of existing issues that we mentioned in the study too. There are 2 issues at the 95 ramps, the north and southbound ramps. For instance, the northbound ramp, we show that it meets current warrants today, and I think the various towns have or are in the process of looking into contacting the DOT, and the DOT can go to the State Traffic Commission and recommend that they do a study to install a traffic signal at that location. That's an existing problem that should be addressed. Sure. Sure, yeah.
The pole that's in the sidewalk? That's on the corner of Grandview.
It's on on the Grandview side.
It's on the Grandview side.
Yeah, again,
If you took a left out of Grandview,
yep.
going south.
Yeah, you can see the shadow of the pole right there.
I don't know why it was put in a sidewalk. It's the only one. I think it was done by Rhode Island Energy.
Yeah, that's another difficult.
This intersection is gonna be right across from your development. I think it's very important. I don't know what the fix is. I put it on record.
I think
I
that
don't know who did it. I think it was the energy department.
I think that's a good question. Obviously at master plan, we won't have those details,
They've done
but
a lot on master.
I think for preliminary plan, there could be a discussion on that. It's an existing condition, but I think it's relevant because there's a lot of attention in this, but I think we can ask the applicant to revisit. It may be that this applicant doesn't have the authority, but they can at least identify the issue, and then we can work to see what is the correct authority and move from there.
Just hard to believe they would jackhammer a sidewalk.
Yeah.
On a pole where there's a handicap pad in the corner for pedestrian. There's a skid pad there, and then there's a pole busted right into behind it.
If you're in a wheelchair, you can't get around that pole without going.
I just wanted to bring it up. I don't know if it's under your purview to do it, but I just wanted to put it on record because I think we don't have the sight distance coming out.
Yeah, a lot of times, if it were on our side of the street and we would have more,
Right.
be easier for us to address, however.
But I like the right turn onlys. I like the way the lane configuration.
Yeah, we pushed, it was really good. The whole development process, they involved traffic early because they knew that was going to be a concern. And so they tried to push the full access drives as far as we could away from the intersection and make the ones, closer to the intersection, right in, right out, to alleviate some of the issues.
This light in that intersection will change. We'll have an arrow turn.
Yeah, we're gonna, we're going to adjust the signal timings and optimize, and it's part of a interconnected system, so where it's a coordinated system along New London Turnpike, so all those signals are supposed to communicate with each other, and they're not doing it as well as they could. So as part of our project, we're gonna optimize the signal timings.
Anybody else on the board have any questions on traffic?
The sign for the road, you're gonna have is that gonna be like a painted merge and then a sign that's gonna be up on the sidewalk?
Yeah,
Two?
yeah, the signs that we have, if you pan down on the page, we start that pretty much right after the right in, right out. And you get the dashed pavement markings that signal that, hey, you got to get out of this lane. And so they're going to get a lot of advance notice as soon as they get around the corner. They make the dual left, and they get past our right in, right out driveway. Even if you go a little further.
Because you're extending that dual zone. Normally it's about, I don't know, 100 feet and they gotta merge. You're saying that you're going beyond that for your turn with a marker that says right only after the normal, what everyone's used to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, as they come around the corner, they still have this exact same
Yep.
distance to
Yeah,
get
that's
out
my,
of that
and
lane.
that's my point. We're not shortening that. If anything, okay.
It's the same length. They have this, and if you look, if you pan back down, I'm making you work tonight. If you go up to Road 1, up on the page, the opposite direction. Keep going. Go, yeah. Go. Nope. Now, if you go to Road 1 up top, you can see where that pavement marking in the middle where the shadow of the utility pole
Yep.
is going right into it. That's where the merge is today. And the pavement's still going to be there, okay? So if someone gets trapped in that lane, they have the same distance to escape as they do today, so.
And I know that the previous development, what you did with Center of New England Boulevard, just kind of perceived that a telephone pole would be easy pickings. You did a nice job with Center of New England Boulevard, and people don't, just me personally, we get so much comments about finally that road's done. And I think that was an extra at the time, but.
Yeah, that's going to alleviate some of the, so we're going to, if you look at our project alone, we looked at, like I said, 12 additional projects in addition to ours. So that's a lot of traffic you're talking, and a lot of time before all those get built and permitted. Some of them aren't even on your docket to be looked at yet. These are like speculation projects that may or may not ever happen. So we included all that traffic. So if you were to build our project alone and open up that new road, I think that the traffic diverted by the new connection is gonna, the loss in traffic you're gonna get from that is gonna be kind of offset what we're adding here. So, so the numbers we were dealing with were 12 develop. I keep saying this over and over, but this is an overestimation of a lot of the traffic that is gonna be out here.
Anybody else? Okay, I think we're good. Thank you. Does our traffic consultant have anything to add?
He's here, he's available for any questions.
I don't know if he wanted to add anything to that, if he's okay with it.
No, John, and if you don't mind, I mean, John Shevlin, he's the president of Park Corporation, and I have been in close touch about this. His guidance has been very useful. And John, if you don't mind, the one thing is maybe that fair share concept we've discussed about what the applicants proposing to do compared to all the other improvements, and whether what they're proposing is a fair share approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Just name and address for
Yes, John Shevlin, Park Corporation, PARE Corporation, Lincoln, Rhode Island.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. You know, everything that Bob said, we went ahead, we submitted our original review back in early July. Bob came back, had responses to our comments with, you know, plans and just an updated report. And we submitted a final letter for review August 19, 2025. And the majority of the items in here, like I said, some of the early stuff is just descriptions of what's going on out there, existing conditions that were, you know, we made different observations, but they addressed all those within the report. As far as the capacity goes, you know, they included all the other developments that are occurring, that are known that are going to occur. So they do have all the traffic that's included in there. Their analysis for what they're doing, we're fine with the analysis. I think we originally had concerns in regards to traffic volumes, but I think there was an error on the figures as far as the volumes they had on there compared to what I was looking at for the actual traffic counts, but they resolved all those issues. So, you know, as was mentioned, they have listed the improvements that they're looking to do within, well, looking to occur within the project area and the surrounding roadways and streets, you know, starting from I-95 northbound and then going all the way to Northern Turnpike Arnold Road. The proposal that they have here for the improvements, I think, would be beneficial to that intersection, and that's around the area in front of their property. And I know he had other things in regards to some improvements at Northern Turnpike and even on site for Center in New England, where the Wendy's is, as far as trying to get traffic better out of there. But I think that's out of their hands as far as doing anything on those. But I think, you know, all the improvements that need to be done, you know, it's been mentioned, the communities are getting together, trying to figure out a way in regards to go ahead and distribute the funds to the different development that comes in. And I know we've had conversations with the planner. And I think one of the things that needs to be done is in regards to the number of trips that are going to be generated and how many trips are going to be affecting certain roadways, and you get contribution from those developers down the road as they occur. But I think Mr. Clinton had a good suggestion as far as going to the Department of Transportation. That signal on I-95 northbound, I think, is one of the most important things coming right now. It is level service F right now. So I think it is worthwhile petitioning DOT to see if they would go ahead and study that and see if it would be you know, worth or needed to put a traffic signal in. But, you know, basically everything that was in the report, everything that Mr. Clinton went and reported, I concur with everything that's been stated.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody have any questions for the consultant?
Yeah,
Mr. Smith, go ahead.
this one. Yeah, yeah, that I-95 northbound ramp that you're talking about, it probably would be a good idea on how to go about it, the town, because that's where they're building the new state police barracks too. So
Correct.
I think there's going to be quite an increase in traffic in that area. So maybe with the new state police barracks, we'd have some, you know, a little sway power to get that, you know, signaled, that intersection.
Yeah.
That's very difficult when you get to the end. If you're making a left-hand turn towards Arnold Road or going north on the London Turnpike, it's hard to see the traffic that's coming. But that would be beneficial. But the state police barracks may be able to push that over. Thank you.
And this study has the traffic counts, I think, that justify it during peak hours as far as whether a signal is warranted or not. So as you just mentioned, just going in front of the State Traffic Commission and stating that and just seeing if DOT could put it on their project list as far as future work or, seeing in regards to what needs to be done. At least get approval for it.
And if I don't, if I may,
Go ahead.
we know that this is one of 12 projects. All the projects have different traffic trip generations, and they all will affect different intersections differently. The intersections that are affected are a mix of different towns and state authorities. So it's a very complex situation. It was important for me for this project in particular that one, we understood the nature of all the issues, but that we were sure that what this applicant was giving us for their offsite improvements, what they were going to commit to, equated to their fair share. They're one of 12. They're not here to fix every intersection. They're here to fix something that's their fair share. We have gotten to the point where we've concluded what they're proposing to do at New London and Arnold is a fair share. There's a complex answer to the question of how are we fixing these other intersections. It's going to need study, a lot of different authorities, a lot of different developments. I don't want to go into detail on that, but the town does have a plan to understand that, to study it and to address it. This applicant just came before that study was done. So that's why, what John's review is important to consider. What is this applicant doing what they can for their piece of it? So.
And I think that whole area, when Center and New England Boulevard, as mentioned earlier, goes through, that's going to relieve some of it. It'll send it back down to Hopkins Hill.
Yeah. It'll be a relief in some ways, but to some degree, we're going to be interested in studying that once it is connected. You give it 4 or 5 months and you do some roadway, road tests and you do some road counts there. It's going to be interesting to see who's using it, why, where, and where does it relieve traffic other places.
Ron's going to be using it on a Saturday.
Yeah.
too.
We're creatures of habit. We're creatures of habit. But
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to, again, go on the record and thank the applicant for doing his due diligence, because this is master plan. It's been a very vigorous master plan, but we really have to get it right. And I think they understand this, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
I think mine are red. Mr. Chairman, so just regarding the ordinance, I want to make sure that you are reviewing the one that has a couple of red lines in it so that you are recommending on the appropriate version.
The board copy may be blue.
So the first red line that you'd see is on line 111. It says motels and hotels, and then it's crossed off not to be located in residential areas. So obviously, we're going to have an apartment building there. I don't want that to be misinterpreted that we can't have a motel and a hotel on this site, right? This is a new one, but I'd like to add this for the council. We talked about a walk-in or urgent care because you have a separate use code for that. So on line 120, after medical and dental offices and laboratories, semicolon, add walk-in and urgent care, semicolon, and it'll go on to legal services. So I'm going to make that change with your recommendation. On line 120. So after medical and dental offices and laboratories, semicolon, add walk-in and urgent care, semicolon. So moving on to line 170, this was just a typo in the original ordinance. We had agreed with the planning staff that we would get an extra 5 feet because they want to have parapets or false roofs. So it should be 65 there, which you can see. And
Yeah, that's written.
that's in there. The only thing I'm adding in is the walk-in urgent care.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that we're looking at, and then line 230 says roofs and then cross out are not permitted. Your ordinance today says shall be avoided. So that's what we wanted to say. And then we have semicolon, however, and that that addresses the language of the roofs that we just talked about. So those are the changes that I'd like you to consider as part of your recommendation. And I think at that point, you know, that, unless you have any questions on the ordinance, we did go over it last time. So if you,
Does anybody have any questions on the ordinance? I'm fine.
Okay.
Yes, we spent a lot of time on the ordinance.
And through the chair, the testimony we're hearing tonight is considered part of both the master plan and the ordinance. And of course, we're going to need two separate votes. It's two separate agenda items, but everything we're discussing is relevant to those two agenda items. In this case, I actually think it's more appropriate to vote on the project and consider all of the issues with the project and make sure that the group doesn't have questions or concerns and there's consensus on the project. And then once you get there, I think it'd be appropriate to consider the recommendation to the planning, to the town council.
The ordinance.
David, are you good with that? Okay.
yes, that came out last month, right? There's not an updated one, right?
The staff report is updated from last month, but I'm sorry, what was the question again, Glenn? No, I mean, the last staff report didn't have a decision or conditions because we had a recommendation to continue. I'll ask the applicant if they have any comments. You haven't seen it yet?
No.
Oh, good, I'm
I
glad.
think it was updated from last.
No, we have a draft decision. You could take a few minutes with it.
Thank you.
And then, actually, this is a good moment while the applicant's reviewing that, staff stand by our conditions wholeheartedly and they shall never change. There's one item that's worth consideration. It's that we have an idea about this site of how to treat the roof lines. The applicant has come back with some thoughtful critique that, some of these are hard to do pitched roofs for the scales and the sizes of the buildings they're doing. And we wanted to inquire to the board if that goal for pitched roofs, in which the applicant is saying we may have to meet that goal with kind of faux parapets, if we want that to apply equally to the commercial side of the site, which is more the public-facing side, it's at the intersection, and do we also want it equally approached for the residential? I believe it's my staff planner, Alex Berardo, who brought this concept up, is do we really want to push for faux roofs on what might be 4-story apartment buildings? Will that be the look we're going for? And are we putting them in a position where we're asking for a design that may not fit? It may be more, Alex, if I'm reading you right, it may be more appropriate on the commercial than the residential side. And that, before we basically, that would be relieving them a bit of this. But it's worth your consideration if you want to treat the two halves of the site equally, or if you want to have the roofs treated a little differently.
Anybody on the board have anything to add to that? I don't have.
You're good with it as is? Okay. All right.
And the ordinance that we're looking at is 20-20, double X.
It shows to you as a double X, but the ordinance is actually 2025-19. That is the ordinance that we are considering for this project.
I think we're good. Do we have anything more to add before I open up public hearing? Okay, take your time, no problem.
I want to revisit one item, and that is the amount of LMI units. So when we first submitted the ordinance, our proposal was to just like with CNE, any parcels that were owned or controlled by Star Capital would be allowed to be developed for the LMI units. You remember that for CNE. That in other words, he's got 5 lots over at CNE, and that the 18% could be put anywhere. They wouldn't have to be like integrated on one lot. So in looking at, and then we basically offered the 18% for this, thinking that we would have the same condition, which is they could be put on any of the lots that he controls. That has changed because your planning staff has concerns about, well, I don't want to speak for him, but I think it's the construction timetable and when are they going to go in, and if you're dealing with too many properties. So Mr. Eden has been looking at this issue, and to build that amount, it's really not feasible. So we are hoping that you will reduce the amount of the percentage of low and moderate income housing to, I think we said 15%, just to give him a little break, because it's going to be very hard to actually construct these units. Nothing changes for CNE, but we just want to have the conversation about this site because of that. It's going to be a lot harder to build them together where we could have done, one building on the CNE lots, and that's the reason for it.
I know our agenda states 18%. Did you have any of these conversations, or is this like?
No, this is new. It doesn't mean that the board can't consider it. Right now that the ordinance itself, I believe that the ordinance itself calls 18%.
And we would ask the town council, which
Yeah.
to reduce that as well with your recommendation.
Yeah. So it would be both a consideration on the project and the ordinance. To me, I think we care about the affordables. I'm doing quick math in my head. It's about 220 units. So the reduction of, and that's now, the applicant could come back and revisit and ask for more units in the future. The ordinance gives them that right. If you were to go from 18% to 15%, that's a 3% drop. We're probably talking about a total of about 7 units that would be affordable, that would now not. That's a policy decision that the board could make. I think we've fought hard to get the affordables. We've asked for affordables on a number of projects, so I'll let the board entertain their consideration of reducing where we're at now. But that's the first I'm hearing of a drop-in.
Units. I don't believe popping affordable lower than 18.
Yeah.
And I want to be consistent because there's other applicants nearby that.
Yeah, we pushed others to 20% in this area in the similar, not a comp permit. There's other applications that have been pushed to 20%.
I count by 5, but you're going the wrong way.
Oh, I know, but we understand you care about it.
I just want to be consistent.
I understand. I just,
Because
it
then
look-
another application is going to say, well, you gave them 15, we're doing 18.
right, but I mean, Mr. Eden.
If he can
is-
put more
is-
units into.
He's constructing a ton of units in Coventry. So we believe he's doing his fair share. Other developments might be a lot smaller. There's a lot of reasons for the justification to reduce it. And I think that we look at it a little bit differently than the number of units you'd be losing. It's, as I've said from the beginning, we want to have status quo at 10% and give you some bump on your current year-round housing. We think an additional 5%, which I've said that from the beginning, is fair. Mr. Eden did agree to 18%. We are asking for your consideration, and that's all we can do.
Well, I'm one of 9 votes, but if we do reduce it to 15 and he comes back with more units, then we're going to bump that back up. Is that fair?
I mean, yeah, but I think.
I mean, you're talking about the units now. If you have the ability to go up in units,
So you.
then I think that should go up also.
But you understand that whenever you build an affordable housing unit, you lose money. Like you literally make,
Depending on the interest rate. Right now, you're losing
well,
money.
yeah, I
If the
mean,
interest rates go down, you're not losing money.
most,
You're probably breaking even.
yeah, most of the time, I mean, in my experience, developers are losing money on every single LMI
They're
unit.
getting more density, so they're getting it on that end.
Listen,
And listen,
conversation.
you've been very good to this board, and I have no problem, in my opinion, going down to 15, but I think if the units go up, then I think.
So we would revisit it at preliminary plan if the units were to go up, and I think that's fair.
Well, one thing I'll note is the 18%, you know, we care about that. I don't mind the board having their consideration of it. My only guidance to you is that it's being carried forward as both a project consideration and a zoning consideration. If it moves forward and they're approved at a zoning consideration where the zoning law is created at 15%, they're allowed to come back by right and say, we're meeting the zoning law. We don't have to provide more. They can, and we could say, can you volunteer to give us more units on top of what zoning requires? But they would, if the zoning passes at 15%, they're in their right to come back at a future stage and say, we just have to meet the law. And if we give you extra bonus units, we have that option, but we have the option not to, and they have a viable by right application. So that's worth your consideration. You're establishing law with this as well, and they're allowed to use that law in the future.
Mr. Chairman, from a practical standpoint, the apartment lot is pretty well built out, Josh, right? So the idea that we're going to come back and ask for more density is, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely. And you as a board can certainly negotiate more if you want to at that time because of site constraints, right? So it's not, we volunteered, by the way, but wait a minute, we volunteered 18% on CNE. We volunteered that. So to say that Mr. Eden wouldn't be reasonable with more units is not logical, honestly. Like, we did not have to provide any LMI on CNE, but we're providing 18%. So this is where we're asking for the break.
Yeah, I'd like to poll the board then.
Yeah. Yep.
And before you do, Mr. Chair, please, you know, this whole change in the precedent, the change in the law thing, it just kind of weighs on us, you know. It's almost like it's going to change, like the burdens on us. Like once we say, you know, me personally, I mean, this is one board member, I do appreciate everything that we've done, that you guys have done. I have no problems with the 15, but it seems to me there's going to be a bad domino effect, and that's why I would like to go through council and you know, you're a great planner. I don't know if you're a lawyer, but you sounded like a lawyer. So is what he's saying true? Is there anything detrimental? Are we like changing the world here if we do this? And
No, and I hesitate to weigh in because I don't want to, you know, the board feels comfortable taking on this consideration, that's fine. But, you know, ultimately, the decision is the council's, right?
It's true.
The board could defer the question to the planning, on the planning issue of reduction to preliminary plan. It's not a no, but it's a deferred. And the zoning, the zone change can be positive recommendation, but not, you know, leave it to the council. The council reduces it at the zone change level, then it's going to be easy for the board to revisit at planning. Because it's really going to be a council decision. And I mean, that's my thoughts. I mean, the council has strong views on this, and I think Ms. Salvador's going to have to convince them to go down to 15%.
Yes, but of course, we would like your recommendation because they will be relying on that. So I would appreciate your recommendation. Again, I think that in this particular case, Mr. Eden is providing tons of housing, which is also just helpful to the town, and volunteered the 18% on Center of New England. So, I mean, as you know, every property and every development is unique, and you need to look at them separately. So, you know, yes, of course.
Yes, hi, Tim Eden, 18 Lanark Road. That 18% is a high bar, and it is penal, and we're trying to encourage housing construction. And when the municipalities, wherever they are around the country, you know, it's 10%, then it's 15, then it's 20, and then somehow the standard got to be 25, and you see this in Massachusetts. It is a heavy burden, and it's reducing the incentive to build. It's not encouraging it. So I would say that if there's a standard, it shouldn't be 25% and it probably shouldn't be 18%. It's heavy burden. You want to encourage construction. 15% is what we had proposed when we knew that housing was going to be an important issue for CNE. We proposed 15. I believe that the board came back at 18, and we said, fine, we'll stretch to 18. Let us cluster those units so we're be eligible for tax credits. You remember that?
Yes.
We're not going to have that. I don't think we're going to have that option necessarily at Coventry Center. And so 18 is going to be a pretty high bar there. We're committing to offsites. We have a lot of site work to be done on this site. There's a lot of topography. Our site costs are coming in high. If it sounds like we're begging, every dollar counts. And 18 is a high bar. I would say for the town, 18 is a high bar.
I know you have to make the project feasible.
Yeah, and I would
We
say
understand that.
If the standard for the whole town was 15%, that is a fair benchmark for the community. Yes, you're free to negotiate higher for different projects for whatever reason. But we're asking for 15% because we think that's fair, and we think 18 is heavy in this case.
A question?
So,
Mr. Price first, and then I'll.
if I can try to understand this, so, I think, so what you're saying is that you originally, your assumption was that all of the, affordable housing would be on the center of New England and you wouldn't have to do any on this lot. I think what the planning is saying, if I can interpret it, that this development here, Coventry Center, was not in the plan back then, which I can understand that. I'm just throwing it out there for a consideration. Would it be possible to stick with the 18%, but divide it up somehow? Like only put certain percentage on Coventry Center and make up the rest on center of New England? Is that a possibility?
I think that would be a possibility. I think it might be cumbersome. Each project really needs to stand on its own. We're going to get to preliminary plan, and you're going to want to see an answer for where the affordables are going to go. And I think we can accommodate that on property. I think to propose something on some other site, I think would be cumbersome. We have lenders and investors to manage, and you're looking for certainty that we're going to be delivering.
Just a thought. I just wanted to throw it out there.
It is a good thought. That was the applicant had that idea of the flexibility. It was staff that had the concern with making the affordable so portable because of the fact that there's different authorities happening. This is a different type of zone change. The center of New England has its own different authorities under consent agreements. We thought we were mixing too many different authorities to be switching requirements from one project to the next. Wherever we end up on this project, I think it's cleanest to say that the requirements are going to stick to this property, this zone change, and this lot. I appreciated John thinking creatively, but we've already decided, we're going to have two separate buckets of affordable. There'll be a center New England, and then there'll be a Coventry Center bucket.
Mr. Smith, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe for Mr. Igliozzi on this one, or any of my peers up here, if we made the condition of approval on this one lot, and thank you, Mr. Eden, for projects in town, we appreciate it. And personally, I don't have a problem with the 15%. But it's owning it forever. The 15% is kind of what I'm hearing. Can it be just this one project, the one exception, Mr. Igliozzi, or is it? It can, so only for this, so it's not.
That's correct. The 18% is on a separate decision that's not in front of us tonight.
Only for this project, Coventry Center. so-
Correct.
Okay.
Change only applies to these two lots.
That's right. That's what I understood. I just want to ask council. All right, thank you.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with the 15%. Is anybody uncomfortable with the 15%? Go ahead.
If I can, I just want to ask the question and make sure I'm understanding correctly, kind of the difference between the two projects, right? So CNE, we were originally considering the 15%, and that was over and above the 10%, as you had mentioned that. Right, but you had mentioned that 10% would be the baseline, right? That you were adding the 5%, but that was all based off of an agreement that was made with the town prior to any of us being here, correct?
No,
Wasn't there a,
no, in fact, the consent agreement says that we shouldn't have any affordable.
no, yes, that's what I meant, sorry, yes. So, that was for 0%, and then you were adding beyond. I guess I would just make the distinction between the two, projects that we're considering is this, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't have any such stipulation on it, and that the town council would have to, agree to the 15%. So there's a difference between the two projects. One, we were kind of fighting against an agreement that was made prior to us. This, we have. the option.
I'm just asking that you give consideration to the work that Mr. Eden and his group is doing in Coventry generally.
Well, and it's been excellent to work with. Mr. Kenny, do you have anything to add? I'm fine with the 15. I don't think anybody else, if they do, I think we're good with the 15.
No, Mr. Smith's question I was gonna ask, it was just pertain to this one project, and I'm okay with the 15 for this.
Thank you.
Well, my recommendation to the board is when you make your consideration of the ordinance,
Zoning
I
ordinance.
think what you're going to do is you're going to have a positive consideration of the ordinance as it was posted, with a positive consideration of additional amendments that are considered. Truthfully, all we're talking about is potential amendments that the council has the right to make or consider on the floor. They have the right to vote up or down on the whole ordinance. They have the right to vote up or down on any individual change. So I think as you make your motion, we should make sure that it's clear that you're making a motion on the ordinance as it was originally posted, so that that is clear to the board, to the council, and that you're making a motion that consideration of these changes, and that those changes, I think, will end up having to be summarized in a separate document. We don't want to send the town council something that shows them, we've already changed this document for you. I think there'll be a separate document that tells them, here's how it would change. And that if you're considering it, the 18 to 15% would be one of those, in addition to everything that you saw that showed up in blue and what Attorney Salvatore
We'll add that.
indicated.
If in fact.
Yeah. So basically, I think what you should do is, as you consider the ordinance, think about all the changes you've heard, and you're going to have a recommendation that basically reflects the record we have, and then staff know how to carry that forward with how it's been communicated. There'll be a recommendation that will show those individual changes by line by line. Does that make sense?
You wanted to say something?
I'm gonna still tell the board they should defer the reduction to 15% to preliminary plan.
The preliminary.
Where the master plan is, if you're gonna make a positive, it's done. If the council agrees, then you don't have to go back and amend your master plan.
Okay, that makes sense, yes.
The answer should be, if you're gonna be positive, you approve,
Are you okay with that? The applicant?
Yeah, I don't think I
Well,
understand.
that's a good point, right?
approve the master plan and defer the question of reduction from 18 to 15.
To preliminary,
Yet the,
Make a positive recommendation on the ordinance as presented.
as written, yes.
Written, and also a positive recommendation on the changes proposed by the applicant, including a reduction to 15%. So to me, it's three pieces.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you, otherwise what's gonna happen, if the council says no, then you got a master plan that's inconsistent with the town law.
That makes sense, yes.
yeah. No, he's right. He's right.
We'd have to come back to master plan.
We can have a legal debate about, because the master plan is conditioned on the zone change, but I'm fine with what David's proposing. Yes, thank you.
Yes. Are you all set? I can open up public hearing? You good?
Yes.
Okay. Entertain a motion to open up public hearing.
Motion to open up.
I have a motion by Mr. Kenny, I have a second by Mr. Smith. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Is there anybody in the room that'd like to come up and speak for or against this project? Anybody on Zoom? Okay, I'll make a motion to close public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close
A
public.
motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Mr. Kenny. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So now we're ready for, I'll entertain a motion on the master plan major land development with associated zone change. I'm gonna do the master plan development first.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve this master plan. Still agenda item 6.1. Project name Coventry Center, the applicant Star Capital LLC, plat AP 7 lots 23 and 24, zoned I, industrial 1, lot size is 17 acres. Has discussed the development, they're going to develop a commercial project on lot 23, commercial space with mixed retail, and then a multifamily residential project on lot 24, 218 units across 4 buildings, 18% of which will be deed restricted and affordable housing. The proposal includes a corresponding zone change that was discussed, that will be discussed at application, be subject to recommendation by the Planning Commission and ultimately decided by the Town Council. I think I gave an asterisk. So again, this member does agree with the staff's findings that the proposal is consistent with the standards for required findings and the facts set forth on the RIGL section 452360, as well as the town council subdivision land regulations. This, of course, approval, it's going to come with the conditions of approval to be met, which were reviewed, with a note on condition 1 that we're gonna I'm gonna defer the reduction of the 18%, defer it to 15% to the town council.
Actually, so where you're at is on that condition of approval, you should say, we're going to defer the consideration of a reduction to the preliminary plan
Oh, okay, okay.
of this project.
All right, so amend that to be, to further consideration of the reduction at preliminary plan to 15%.
And I do have one added condition, and this is a real basic one that we just missed. I'd like to add a condition of approval, number 8, that master plan decision is conditioned upon the approval of the zone change.
So noted, as stated.
Yes.
Okay, so noted, condition number 8 as stated by the planning director. And also, of course, I want to adopt the finding of facts in this motion. I want to also add the staff report to my motion and and also the TRC report to my motion.
Have a motion, have a second? Have a second by Mr. Price, have a motion by Mr. Anderson. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Second, we will go to the ordinance. Make a recommendation, looking for a recommendation to the town council on the ordinance number 2025-19.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a favorable recommendation to the town council on the approval of ordinance 2025-19 with all changes currently noted in the ordinance. How do I do that?
My recommendation, and staff will write this in the document, my recommendation is you're just making one vote, but communicate that you recommend favorably on the ordinance as it was originally posted, and that you also have favorable consideration of the changes that have been discussed through this process, including including what was presented tonight. So it doesn't need to be two different motions, but you saying you liked it as it was and you liked it as it is changed. So that way the council understands that they can do what they want and your recommendation provides a blessing for any number of changes or not changes. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Does that sound correct to you, Mr. Igliozzi?
Sufficient. Something more specific.
That's fine. Fine with us.
I'd like to incorporate the planning director's comments, my recommendation.
All right, we have a favorable recommendation for an ordinance. Send it to favorable recommendation to the council. I have, Mr. Kenny made an interesting, motion. And, do I have a second on that? Second by Mr. Price. Any discussion?
It's sufficient. I think just the final document is going to be prepared by the planner. It's going to have at least you by.
And agreed by the applicant.
Yeah.
Should make sure.
And to be honest, my staff planner, Mr. Berardo, drafted the recommendation language to basically make this assumption that you are sending a positive recommendation to the town council on the ordinance, inclusive of the proposed revisions submitted by the applicant, and then we're just making sure that includes what was covered in testimony tonight. Essentially, we already have written the language.
I have a motion and a second as written. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. Recommendation to the council. Thank you.
Thanks for your patience.
Yes. It's okay.
Mr. Chairman, before you move on, just want to make sure with the planner that that included a finding that the ordinance was consistent with the comp plan?
The findings articulated in the staff memo do make the required findings by state law.
The motion incorporated the staff report.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that brings us to 8.2, ordinance number 2025-22, amending chapter 255, article 3, administration and enforcement, proposed townwide zoning code amendment to address and clarify the responsibilities of the building inspector and the zoning enforcement office. Before we ask for a motion, I noticed the public comment.
Yeah, we should take public comment on it.
Any public comment on the ordinance change?
All
The
right.
Ordinance approval? Anything on Zoom? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the ordinance as written.
Sounds good. As approval of the ordinance as written, and you guys do have, this is what was handed to you just tonight. It does provide the findings and a recommendation. So if you want to reference this memo that was submitted, that will be helpful.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance 2025-22 as written.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Anderson. I have a second.
I want to make sure you opened up public hearing because the law requires it to open up public hearing.
It says for comment. Is a public hearing on an ordinance?
Well,
Council level, I guess, not.
I think it is. I think the advisory recommendation, it's optional. Some municipalities make it a hearing. I don't think we do, but we're taking comment anyway. And
You've never taken public comment.
yeah.
So you're good with that, Mr. Solicitor? Okay. Do I have a motion as written? Do I have a second?
Second with discussion.
Yeah, I'll ask for discussion. Second by Mr. Kenny. Any discussion?
You didn't add the memo in your motion. You didn't include the memo that the planner was just talking.
Said as written, right?
I said as written.
Ordinance as written.
Yeah.
But you have to include this
I think Mr. Kenny's got a good point. I mean, the way I heard it too, when you said as written, I thought you were speaking of the ordinance, the findings and the recommendation.
To include
Yeah.
the memo?
Sure, I'd like to amend that motion for 2025-22 has written and to include the memo.
And, you amend your second.
I amend my second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Oof.
Okay, we're at director's report.
We don't need to get into it tonight. We're going to carry that on agendas, just to allow us to give you quick updates as we move along, but not tonight.
Hey, motion to adjourn.
Motion to
I have a
adjourn.
motion, have a second.